Good morning, guys. It is Thursday, October 10th. Thank you for tuning in for our update. A reminder to leave comments and questions as we roll through some of these stories. These are the stories that you guys are clicking on khau.com, that you're sharing and commenting on our Facebook page. And before we roll the video for our first story, I wanted to kind of explain why we're doing this story. So a lot of you maybe clicked on this because you saw Joshua Brown's name in the headline. He is the neighbor of Botham Jean, who testified in the Amber Guyger trial. He was murdered on Friday. He was shot and killed in front of his apartment in Dallas. And there were so many questions about what happened, because initially there was a tweet from the family's lawyer that he'd been shot in the head and the mouth. And a lot of folks thought it seemed too much of a coincidence that this has happened. You guys demanded answers. And so the reporters at our sister station in Dallas really worked to get those and to provide some context. And that involved, yes, talking to police, and it involved looking through Brown's criminal history, because police say his death was the result of a drug deal gone bad, that he was shot when 3 men tried to rob him to get drugs. And there's a history with Brown of criminal acts. He had been arrested in 5 different states, and so we can show some of that video now for you. But I know this is upsetting for a lot of people, because there's this impression that we're trying to slander him and his name, and there he is on the witness stand, and he's the victim of a killing. That's not what we're trying to do. I just want to clarify. You guys demanded answers about what happened, how it happened, and so we've tried to get those answers for you. And you can read up on the investigation from our sister station at WFAA. Arkisha asks, what does his criminal record have to do with this? We normally wait until the end to go through comments, but I think this is an important conversation to have in real time as we can. It's important because police say his record is indicative of his death, if that makes sense. They say he was killed in a drug deal. They say they found many pounds of 12 pounds of marijuana and $4,000 in cash in his apartment. They say they found digital scales used to weigh drugs in there as well. They're trying to clarify that this wasn't a conspiracy. It wasn't an assassination, as the family's lawyer initially suggested when he said that Brown was shot in the head and the mouth. He was actually shot in the lower part of his body. He shot a man before he died. That man survived, however. So again, read up in the report that our sister station and the team up there in Dallas has put together. This is something you guys are so very interested in, and I understand your concerns, but this was part of the discovery process. And sometimes when you're looking for answers, you don't necessarily find what you were looking for, but maybe not what you were hoping for, I guess is how I'll leave that. And again, I'll push you to WFAA and the link that we've shared in the caption up above. We're actually going to move on to a different story out of Dallas, and it's a Dallas attorney who for years has been vacationing in Playa del Carmen with his wife. Her name is Clara Beth. This last trip, though, he got bit by a mosquito, as you do, and he didn't realize you could get dengue fever. So this is what his condition is like right now. Dengue has flu-like symptoms, but Clara Beth says this is like 10 times worse than the flu, and there's no specific treatment for it. So he's just recovering down there right now, but they really wanted to warn other folks. She says this isn't going to stop them from vacationing there, but they are definitely going to be more mindful about mosquitoes and being safe when they're out there. So a warning. I think there were 27 cases of dengue in Texas, recorded in Texas. Most of them are travel related. So if you're headed to, a nice, warm, tropical location, that is something to keep in mind. Closer to home, we had one of these stories that you can't make up overnight. Police say a man stole a tow truck from his baby's mother and then tried to steal another car with that stolen wrecker and then led deputies on a chase. So this was all about 3 o'clock in the morning, and this chase went through Northeast Harris County for about 20 minutes. There you see him go, and the Precinct 1 constable deputies right behind him. He ended up giving up, getting arrested. There you go. But what a weird situation, to be sure. Again, sometimes overnight in Houston, these stories. Truth is stranger than fiction, to be sure. Let's shift gears, shall we? And talk about a big shift in temperatures, because Cheetah's here tracking this cold front like the real deal. We had kind of a taste of it earlier this week, but Cheetah, it's a coming.
Yay! I know. I think we're all counting down here for that cold front. So today is going to be a warm one. So I first want to prepare you for Thursday before we really talk about all the fabulousness as we head into the upcoming weekend. Temperatures, though, this morning starting off warm and humid, the 50s and 60s with that low relative humidity. Yeah, it is long gone. If you're planning to either maybe watch the Astros from another place, or if you're headed out to Minute Maid, either way, when they begin, even at 6:07 tonight, it's still going to be right around 90, a really warm and humid afternoon. High temperatures today should top out in the low 90s, but you'll be feeling closer even to the mid 90s. The reason why? All this sunshine. Now throughout the day, because of the higher relative humidity, clouds will continue to stream in. So about a 20% chance for a stray shower to an isolated thunderstorm. But otherwise today, it's just hot, it's humid, plenty of sunshine to continue to warm these temperatures up. So right now across the state, 76 in Houston, that's at the big airport, 77 in Austin, 78 in Dallas. Take a look at Amarillo though, sitting at 42. So the cold air is there. You just have to head just to our northwest. That's where the cold front is. So as that continues to work across the state, everyone will be talking about what a big change in these temperatures here. Let's quickly fast forward to tomorrow for your Friday forecast. This is when the cold front arrives, and this is a really strong, it's pretty powerful here that'll be moving in early Friday. So this is around your lunchtime hour. It's expected to move through the heart of Harris County, quickly pushing offshore. So everyone will be feeling the effects of that cold front by 2-3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Some of our northwest counties, you'll actually feel some of the effects from that cold front as early as maybe 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. So significant changes around the corner. Come Friday evening, tomorrow night into early Saturday morning, temperatures will be dropping down to the 50s. So if you plan to support anyone maybe for high school football Friday evening, if you have any plans late Friday night, you're really going to notice big changes. So you'll start tomorrow morning off in the 70s like we are today. It'll still be warm, it'll be humid. Rain chances will increase before your lunchtime hour as that cold front's pushing through the area. And then between about noon and the afternoon, notice how these temperatures continue to drop. Our winds out of the north continue to pick up, so it's going to be breezy, it's going to be chilly, and then by the evening hours, that's when temperatures will be falling to the 50s. So you'll need the jackets, maybe even the blanket if you're planning to head out to any high school football games. 91 today, so what a different change here. More summer-like pattern today, more fall-like pattern really for tomorrow, and then almost a winter-like pattern as we head into your Saturday, Sunday, but gorgeous. I mean, really, Brandy, as we head into Saturday and Sunday, 50s for our lows, high temperatures in the 70s. You don't really get better than that around here. It's going to be beautiful.
I'm so excited about this weekend's forecast. Let me know, do you like these cooler temps? Are you like a upper 70s, low 80s kind of person, or do you prefer the fall weather that's a little warmer than that? Because you know we're going to get both all fall into the winter. So keep that dialogue going. Also, I want to introduce you to Sesame Street's latest character. Her name's Carly, and she is in foster care. And the reason she's in foster care is because her mom is battling opioid addiction. There's a huge population of kids who live just like Carly. And so Sesame Street thought it was important to have someone who represents that community, foster children, foster parents. And they're doing that with Carly. They're also introducing a real life girl whose parents went through recovery, and her parents as well. I just think it's a really important message. There's been addiction in my family, and that has impacted children in the family, to be sure. None of us have had to be in foster care. I can't imagine what that experience is like and how hard that is for the children, for the parents, that separation, for the foster parents as well. So I just thought it was a really, really important step by Sesame Street to recognize those children, that struggle, that challenge, those parents. So let us know what you think about that as well. And we will wrap it up by talking about the Astros. Why I'm wearing the orange today. Why a lot of people are busting out their superstitious tricks like baking cakes for the players. That's what Janet Flood does at Yellowbird Cakery. She did it before the 2017 World Series. She made cakes for all of the players. There's one for Jose Altuve. She says it brought them luck. So she's hoping that works again in Game 5 because, yeah, they got to win tonight. If they don't, we stay home and the Rays go on to face the Yankees in the ALCS. The Yankees, by the way, have been like resting up for days. They won their series against the Twins, so it's on us now. Tickets were still available as of this morning, running about $90 for standing room only, which really isn't bad for playoff tickets. But that game is tonight. If you want to check it out, let us know what you think. You think we're gonna pull it out? We're gonna win? Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I love some postseason baseball. We want to keep the season going. Okay. So I know this is a tough day to go through the comments and questions, but I think it's important because that's what these updates are about. They're about having a dialogue and being able to respond to some of your questions and concerns. Brandon, I know, said that the comments have been flooded by folks who are really upset that we're doing this story about Joshua Brown. And I kind of tried to explain it. I know some of you have pointed out that I've been stumbling over my words. I certainly do. This isn't scripted. So these are just the words that are coming out as they're coming to mind. And I wanted you guys to understand why we're doing it, why WFAA is doing it. If we didn't, you guys would be just as upset. If we never followed up on this story, there would be a lot of comments and questions and concerns as well. So I think this is one of those situations where we're darned if you do, darned if you don't. I know the results of asking these questions doesn't make a lot of people happy. And I understand why, to be sure. This is a man who was killed. He had his life taken away. And it happened so soon after the Amber Guyger trial, after a Dallas police officer was found guilty and convicted of murdering a man, her neighbor, Joshua Brown's neighbor as well. However, because of those circumstances, that's why you guys demanded answers about how he was killed, about the circumstances in which he was killed, about his history, whether there was any. That's why the story is done. So I don't know if that answers some of your questions or if there's anything else, Brandon, that you've seen that maybe I can answer.
Not really. People are fired up over this. We have a lot of people talking about it. And again, we understand why this is such a divisive issue. Most people are just, talking about how it just seems very convenient, which we definitely understand that it does seem very convenient.
Absolutely, and that's why we started looking into it in the first place. I mean, the conviction happens and a few days later, this guy who provided key testimony in the Guyger case, he was Botham Jean's neighbor. He said he heard the exchange between Guyger and Jean, played a vital role in this trial, and then a couple days after the conviction, after the sentencing, he's shot and killed in front of his apartment. For sure, that generates so many questions.
Yeah, a newer question here. Linda's asking why they would go to Texas to buy marijuana when there's clearly marijuana available in Louisiana. So that's another issue that people are looking into, is why they would even cross the border to do this.
That is an excellent question. We know that I-35, I-10, they're big corridors for drug trafficking. That may not be the answer at all. Dallas, please tell us, he had pounds of marijuana in his apartment as well as cash. So it's hard to say, but that's another one the team at WFAA can start looking into if you really want the answers. Anything else? Nothing Astros weather. This is kind of dominating everything. I know. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I appreciate asking your comments or asking your questions, posing those to us, and demanding responsibility and action, because that is very important. That's why we started looking into this in the first place. So keep them coming. There's another update coming up at 2:15. I'm sure WFAA will have more on this story in the days to come. It's obviously a story that is generating a lot of interest. So keep an eye on that, and we will be back tomorrow. Have a good one.